from class 6B, and I've been assigned the task of reading the summary, characters, and themes of The Tempest. T.S. Eliot, in his poem *The Wasteland*, has used several references from the Shakespeare's play *The Tempest*, and the references has been have been used in the first section, the burial of the death. Later on, they have been used in the third section, the fire sermon. In total, we have three references from the Tempest. First, we will discuss the summary of the Tempest, the themes, and where the poet has used these references in his poem. Why did he use? And later on, we will just kind of directly or indirectly connect these references with the poem and explain how they are, applicable in this poem. So, in the section "The Burial of the Dead", um, um, T.S. Eliot has used the lines, "Those are pearls that were his eyes, look." These lines have this is the main reference to the play The Tempest. So, The Tempest is mainly about love, magic, manipulation. It's a play by Shakespeare in which we see that the former Duke of Milan, Prospero, and his daughter, that is Miranda, have been exiled from Italy because his brother Antonio, he staged a play and then and sent him in exile, and then I'm sorry, then captured the seat himself. Prospero in the island, he meets an aerial spirit as well as Caliban, and who is a kind of a wild man, and then he makes that wild man his servant. We see that Prospero, he uses his magic to manipulate everyone on island, and one day it happens that the king of Naples along with his party is coming back from his daughter's wedding, and what Prospero does is he churns a storm in the sea, and that wrecks the ship of the king of Naples and his party, and everyone prepares to sink, but hopefully they are saved. Prospero and his daughter, they are on the seashore and watching the whole shipwreck scene, and when Miranda asks her father to do something in order to save the party, but Prospero, he intends start to narrate a story to Miranda. And the story is about him being a rightful Duke of Milan and how his younger brother brought him down. But then the ship wrecks. After that, the ship wrecks, and the party of the ship is divided into three parts. So, the son of the king of Naples, that is Ferdinand, he gets separated from his father, and the king of Naples, he gets separated from his son. So his son thinks that his father has been killed, and king of Naples thinks that his son has been killed. And these references have been given in the third section, that is the sermon of the fire sermon, that is the longest section in The Wasteland, where the lines that run as follows. The lines that are: "Musing upon the king my brother's wreck, and on the king my father's death before him." And later on, there is another line that shows a reference from The Tempest, and that is: "This music crept by me upon the waters." So first we will analyze the all right, so back to the story of the Tempest. Ferdinand and the king of Naples, they get separated. Ferdinand, he falls in love with Miranda, and Prospero, he asks Miranda not to meet Ferdinand, but still they keep on meeting, and they decide to marry each other. On the other hand, king of Naples, he is exhausted because he cannot find his son, but later on, Prospero, he decides to forgive his younger brother. His younger brother, on the other hand, manipulates the younger brother of the king of Naples in order to bring his brother down and to capture the throne himself. We see that the younger brother of Prospero has no shame, no guilt. He does not apologize, but Prospero in the end decides to forgive him. And Ferdinand, he meets his father, and his father gets really happy when he comes to know about the union of Ferdinand and Miranda, and he's really happy about the fact that they are going to get married soon. The main themes in this play is are the superiority, love, magic, manipulation, betrayal, and there is this greed of power that is being exhibited by Prospero's younger brother, sorry. And then we see that T.S. Eliot has used these references in his poem in order to highlight the shortcomings of the modern man, because he wants to tell his readers that how the modern man has become selfish and mean, and he only thinks about himself and his prophets. He does not think about his brethren, he does not think about his family or his sisters or daughter. He just wants to do everything for himself. So we see that these quotations show that only scraps are remained by isolated individuals. And we see that Ariel, that is the spirit in the play, is spreading misfortune to the survivors of the ship, because the spirit tells Ferdinand that his father has been killed. And then Ferdinand, he mourns over the death of his father in the lines, that musing upon the king my brother's wreck, and on the king my father's death before him. And then in return, because of the misinformation of the spirit, Ferdinand, he begins to mourn on his father's death, and he is disturbed. And that's what T.S. Eliot want to show, that because of that man, the modern man is so selfish that he is ready to make other men, other fellows suffer just for his own profit, just for his profit's sake. And that is all about it. Also, we see that in the burial of the dead, the line that is a clear reference towards the um, Tempest, those are the pearls that where his eyes look. These lines have been spoken by these lines were taken from the Tempest. And we see that all of the misinformation that is spread on the island, just because Prospero wants to take a revenge for whatever has been done to him, is what a modern man does nowadays. Modern man is selfish, modern man is hollow. There is a spiritual crisis in this world, and just because the modern man is not that much into religion, he is carrying out these immoral activities, the activities that are damaging. So that's the whole summary, theme, characters. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. This is Ayman Sajjad here, moderator first group, and the topic assigned to me is The Tempest by William Shakespeare, and I have to draw a comparison between his work and T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. So, what I understood as it's a play, and I could not complete it, so I tried to read all the summaries and all notes about it to know the story and what is the basic comparison between both of the works. So, what I understood is that The Tempest is a play about betrayal, love, and forgiveness that sets on an island somewhere near Italy, where Prospero, he is basically the main character who has a power to control storms and to create storms. And along with Prospero, other characters are Duke of Milan and his beautiful daughter Miranda, that are living on that strange island. And during the story time, they all try to do some evil things, and once they try to kill Prospero also, and all the betrayal games start in the play. But at the end, they all are forgiven and everything settles down. Major themes of this play include love, betrayal, compassion, and forgiveness, and love, including you can say tragical romance. So, when we compare it, Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, at this the second part of the poem, chess game of chess, we see that a tragical love, which was between Teresus and Philomela. Philomela was the sister-in-law of Teres, and what he tried to do, that once he saw her, and after that he unconsciously fell in love with her, and just to satisfy his lust, he raped her in words, and it was tragical. Though he called it as his love, but though it was tragical, so that historical tragical love, which was present in, which was alluded, or you can say used as an allusion in Wasteland, was prominent in Shakespeare's work also. And other thing is that in the second part, the game of chess, woman is shown sitting in a room, and there is a very prominent painting at the back, which is actually significant because it is showing the rape scene of Philomela. So in this, and in the, you can say, play by Shakespeare, one thing is major common, that art has power of redemption because it involves the qualities of restraint and it can balance. And it has healing effect also on characters. So this is basically, you can say, a common thing observed in both of the works, that though things that are attempted in past having very evil results, or having a very evil nature, and they were not justified, or they were not given justice, but they are speaking out aloud by this power of art, and showing the true reflection, or true, you can say, nature and attitudes of the people that were hidden in real in the past times. So after that, there is a common line, just a small, you can say, a difference of words, that in the poem, the line is written what the thunder says, and in the play the line is written what the tempest says. So these both are basically referring to the consciousness and awakening, spiritual awakening, spiritual consciousness, and recalling for, you can say, realizing and recognition of the bad and evil deeds attempted or done by the characters. And as at the end of Tempest, everything settles down and everyone is forgiven. So, this divine power of forgiveness is mentioned in the last lines of the second part, the game of chess, also, where no punishment or no harsh reactions to the evil deeds is observed, and we see others as being forgiven, indirectly forgiven by their attempted deeds.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Mubina Hussain, and the task that I've been given is to relate the Tempest by Shakespeare to the Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. So, first I'll give a little summary of the Tempest. In this play, the main characters are Prospero. He was once a Duke of Milan, is now a powerful magician and a sorcerer. His beautiful daughter Miranda, a sprite Ariel, and a strange wildman Caliban. So all of them are deserted on an island, and the main events that take place in the play are the plot of killing the King of Naples, Alonso, a romance between Miranda and Ferdinand, the son of the king, and a scheme to kill Prospero as well. But we see in the end that all is forgiven and they set to sail. The first a relation that I could find between these two is that there are a lot of references from Shakespeare's play that were used in The Wasteland. For example, we have this idea of suffering is turned into art. There's power of redemption. We see that in Shakespeare's Tempest. In the Wasteland, there is an illusion what the thunder says, and the answer is in the Tempest that the thunder says give, sympathize, control. So this is the power of redemption. That's the first reference, the first relation between these two. The other reference we find is that Madame Sorceress, her discoveries of the tarot cards of the drowned Phoenician sailor that warns that the fear of death by water. So this is also a reference from Shakespeare, and there are a number of other references. Then these are related in a way that they are Prospero and his daughter and the other two characters, they are deserted on an island. And similarly we see that the main setting of the poem The Wasteland is also a deserted area, a wasteland. The second thing is that the themes kind of are related. There is aristocratic themes, the themes of jealousy, vengeance. These are presented in the Tempest, and we also see that in The Wasteland, Eliot has kind of described the modern world in these terms: jealousy, vengeance. A modern man is ready to turn his back onto each other for his own benefit. And then the third thing is the symbol of water. In The Wasteland, water is a very important symbol, and it is used as it has dual nature here. It is used as a symbol of death and life. It is holy water of life giving and life taking, and it is given, the cyclical nature of water is described here. So and so we see that water symbolizes destruction, death, life, purification, even baptism, refreshment, regrowth, and rebirth in a way. So the main plot of the Tempest is based on, you could say, a water setting. There is a violent storm that is fear, death by water in the wasteland, and there we see that there is purification as well. After the shipwreck because of the tempest or the violent storm, we see that everything is forgiven, everything comes back to track, things become normal, and there are good feelings in the end. Prospero, he forgives all of them for their betrayal. So we see that water, it plays both the roles in the destruction as well as the reconstruction, and both in both these the play and the poem, water is a very important symbol. So these are the relations that I could find in the poem. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Today I Sadia Sarwar is here to discuss the reference of the play The Tempest by Shakespeare in T.S. Eliot's poem The Wasteland. The first of all, discussing about the characters of the play, they are Prospero, who is the protagonist and father of Miranda, daughter of Prospero, Ariel, Prospero's spirit helper, Caliban, Prospero's servants, Ferdinand, son and heir of Alonso, king of Naples, then Antonio, Prospero's brother, Sebastian, who is Alonso's brother, and Gonzalo, an old and honest lord, boatswain, who is a good natured man, then Trincolo, a jester, and Stefano, who is a drunken butler. Trincolo and Stefano provides the comic foil in the play. Now coming towards the plot overview, the play begins with Alonso, the king of Naples, is returning from his daughter's wedding in Tunis. He is accompanied by his son Ferdinand, his brother Sebastian, and Antonio, the Duke of Milan, and old Milanese courtier Gonzalo is also on board. The ship is wrecked in a storm, and all its passengers and crew are thrown into the furious sea. Prospero, the former Duke of Milan, and his 15-year-old daughter Miranda are watching the shipwreck from an island. He tells her for the first time how they came to be on the island. 12 years before, when he had been Duke of Milan, his brother Antonio had usurped him, but with Gonzalo's help he had escaped in a small boat with his baby daughter Miranda and his library of books about magic. They had ended up on the island, and Prospero had turned the only inhabitant, Caliban, a deformed and savage creature, into his slave. There are also spirits on the island. One of them, Ariel, had been imprisoned in a tree trunk by Caliban's mother, the witch Sycorax, who had then died. Prospero used his magic abilities to rescue him, and he made the spirits to swear to serve him. The ship's passengers are cast upon the island unharmed, and even their clothes are not wet or damaged. Alonso believes his son to be dead, but Ferdinand has landed on another part of the island. He encounters Miranda and they fall in love at first sight. He is the first man apart from her father and Caliban that she has ever seen. Prospero puts Ferdinand to work manually, controlling all his movements with magic. Ariel pesters Prospero for his freedom, and Prospero promises it once he has done something for him regarding the newcomers. Ariel leads a party towards Prospero's cell. During this journey, Antonio and Sebastian plan to kill Alonso so that Sebastian can be king. Two other members of the party, Trincolo, the court jester, and Stefano, a butler, are also wandering about on the island. Caliban recruits them to help him overthrow Prospero. They all get drunk, then set off for Prospero's cell. Ariel reports the plot to Prospero. Prospero has released Ferdinand and given his blessing to the marriage of the two young people. When the three would-be usurpers arrive at his cell, they are distracted by some brightly colored clothes that have been hung out for them. Then they are chased away by a band of spirits who have taken on the form of dogs. Ariel brings the party to the cell. Prospero renounces his magic and reveals himself. He forgives his brother and prepares to return to Milan to rescue his dukedom. Miranda and Ferdinand are betrothed. betrothed. Sailors arrive and announce that the ship hasn't been wrecked after all and is safely anchored off the island. Ariel is set free. Caliban and the drunken servants are also forgiven. There is a final celebration for their reunion. And now coming towards its relation to the poem The Wasteland, the reference is Eliot reference to Shakespeare play The Tempest form part of an atmospheric and thematic design in the wasteland. The line from Ariel's song follows Madame's Scott's discovery of one of the tarot cards that of the Phoenician sailor. Eliot writes, "Those are pearls that were his eyes." This is from the line 48 and line 125. The line quoted above is from Shakespeare The Tempest. That is Ariel's song to the shipwrecked Ferdinand. The song is about the supposed drowning of Ferdinand's father, Alonso. Ariel sings, "Those are pearls that were his eyes, nothing of him and doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange." The supposed drowning of Alonso and Ferdinand is regarded as their purification by water, and the sea change suffered by Alonso typifies, from one point of view, suffering transmuted into art. Alonso is a transformed person at the end.
So what happens is that Prospero, he wanted to get revenge from his brother because he had marooned him on an island for 12 years. So he summoned a storm to wreck his brother's ship. Now, Eliot uses this reference and expresses the view on the modern world that there is hopelessness and there is no one who is there for you in the real life, because they say that blood is thicker than water. But what his brother did to him was that he marooned him on an island for 12 years just for the sake of power, money. This is what he wanted, and that's basic human nature, that the lust is endless. So he did that, and because of this jealousy and hatred that he had in his heart. So if we relate it to the poem The Wasteland, we see that it's just the same, that there is no hope. Even though there is rain, there is sunshine, there are all the things that can bring back fertility and whatnot, but it is of no use. We cannot bring, you can say, like, there is no hope. There is no hope. Everything is dead, and even